Hello everyone, I'm Dante from Low Manor and welcome to another This Week in Anthem. Here I run through all the news, updates, interviews and community spotlights that you should be checking out each week. Starting off today, I want to touch on some updates we've had in the form of a Reddit comment from Brennan Holmes. From all the interviews and general comms we've had from the game, it's been understood that your pilot levels up with a skill tree and each javelin has its own as it levels up. Turns out, this isn't how any of this works. Yes, the pilot does level up with a more classical skill tree, where you choose a path to focus on that applies to all your javelins. Still no update on what these are, but I've probably said before, these need to be somewhat generic, and can't be changed for each javelin type as it costs in-game resources to adjust talents. The javelin, however, doesn't actually have a skill tree, and instead has active and passive slots. So my guess regarding how gear worked was actually closer than I thought. So no skill trees on javelins, which makes me wonder what the XP on javelins is for. Certainly opening up the passive slots, but they've said there will always be a use for XP, so I suspect there's another later game reason for it. But back to the javelins. My concern was that with essentially only 4 slots, loot would have some issues. Passive skills though, which are also drops, take the traditional place armor would usually take, freeing up the armor to be completely cosmetic, without being detrimental to the gameplay, while also making a clean-cut way to monetize fairly. How many of these passive slots are there, we are yet to discover, another item to put on the loot update list later this summer. This takes me on to the next point, set items. It's been confirmed that they will be included, which makes me very happy. They said they were taking inspiration from the best looters out there, and it's starting to show. I might just be speculating, but I'm going to assume that these won't just be a simple 2-item set, although I'm sure some of the basic ones will be like that. But instead full gear sets, such as using 2 passive slots, 2 ability slots and a weapon to create a full loadout. The way I want them to do these, from a lore perspective, is to have sets based on past legendary figures, prominent members of the Legion of Dawn and other yet to be discovered persons who have had a significant impact or created an iconic style. An early example we could use is if the fire-based Colossus is actually a set, with a special version of the Firewall and Flame Mortar creating additional bonuses. They're being supported by passives that can amplify and grant unique effects. There's a lot we could speculate about here, so let me know what set types you'd like to see in the game in the comment section below. Next up in the news is yet another interview from Game Informer, this time with James Olin, who has just announced his retirement from BioWare after 22 years. He's stepping away to focus on his roots, which if you've been playing BioWare games for a while, you'll certainly know his work, specifically his D&D roots. He's one of the minds behind Baldur's Gate, easily one of the best isometric RPGs. For you that are worried that this is a bad omen for Anthem, it's worth noting James wasn't a central figure to Anthem's creation. He worked for a 6-month period as a narrative director, handing everything over to Kathleen Rootsart, who we saw in the E3 panel. Rather than going back to a less creative job, he took the decision to move on in his career and focus on creative tasks that he slowly moved away from over the years. We've seen this several times in the industry as of late. It's just a lot more public now than it's been in the past, but nothing particularly new. The final bit of news I want to touch on is related to the narrative of Anthem. The motion capture for the game has now wrapped up, for the core story. I'm sure there'll be more as the story expands, but for the time being, shooting is finished and moved into the production phase. What this means, in the view of launch, is that the story is done. The core development, including all the cutscenes, is now set, leaving about 6 months for all this to be created just in time for launch. If you are interested in the main story of Anthem, this should be taken as a good sign. And barring any last minute reshoots, we can be confident that this core story is in good hands, and not being rushed together in the final months of production. Now on to the community, and this week we are shouting out Anthem Insider. He covers a lot of stuff Anthem related, including streaming the Anthem Insider show. This week he's interviewing Arix, another YouTuber that covers Anthem and a lot of other games. You can check him out over at his Twitch and his website that you can find linked below. And lastly, in case you missed it, I was a guest on Enter the Javelin earlier this week, over at Lupo to the Rescue. You can check this out over at his YouTube channel that will be linked below, along with the socials and links for everything covered today. As always, I love to hear your thoughts on everything I covered, so let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this episode, then please leave a like or a dislike if you prefer. You can subscribe to support the channel and hit the little bell for notifications as new content goes live. But until next time, I've been Dante, thanks for watching.